this year for Fact Fluency, instead of doing the Rocket Math, I am using MobyMax. I've used this in the past, and I hope that this tutorial proves helpful to you should you choose to use it in your classroom as well. So this is the website here. You just go to mobymax.com and you go to sign in. It's a orange button on the side. Now, at this top, this is a little bit tricky. So it's, if you're signing in as a student, as a teacher, as a parent, as a school administrator, or a district administrator. So you just choose what the role you have, okay? You do have to go through and sign up. So if you are new to MobyMax and don't have an account, you just click this link right here, sign up today. You go, you enter your school email. And it brings you to this prompt. Now, this section of Moby Central is a little bit new. It had icons and a different interface, but as I've been going through it a little bit last night and some today, it still has the same capabilities. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you are going to want to import your roster. To do this, you would just go down to Teacher Admin and hit Roster. Now, these are my new students in 4th grade, but I wanted to show you how to import one student. So Micah Workman is the last person on my list. So I didn't import him just so you could see how to do it. So I'm going to go into first name, and I'm going to put Micah Workman. He's in 4th grade. Now, your username can be, it prompts you to provide a username or password. I think these are hard to manage because they are so random. So I make all their usernames just their first name, and their password is just 4W. And their student ID is just their class number. So Michael would be 23. And then you hit finish. Now, all of my students for this year are in my class, including Micah. Okay, it organizes them by first name. He was last on my roster because they're alphabetical by their last names. So now once he's in, what I'm going to do is I am going to go back to my interface. Okay, and it's going to tell you your one student was successful. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to click on Fact Fluency because that specifically is what I want my students to work on. Now, because I teach 4th grade, I want them to start with multiplication. If you are a 1st grade teacher, you can work on addition. You can start with division. But you go in like this and you go to settings. And it's again under the Teacher Admin. Now, once I'm in here, I can go to General or I can go to Modules. Once you click on Modules, you go to Math because that's what I'm using this program for. And I'm going to scroll down. Now, you can have them take a placement test, and this kind of helps you differentiate. So maybe it will put some kiddos back on addition or subtraction, and some kids it would put on division, or it would do some higher level fluency. That's up to you. So if you want to start the students with a placement test, I will tell you the placement test takes about 20 minutes or so, and if there is a way to save it, I don't know how to do that. So that would require some clicking around. There wasn't a way to do it last year. Now, to assign lessons, you can automatically assign the lessons, and that goes based on your grade level. So when I put in my roster, I put 4th grade, so it'll start them at that level. You can turn this off, and you can assign your class however you want individually. Now, I'm going to work on Fact Fluency, let's say for 10 minutes per day. And I want them to do a problem a minute, let's say. So 10 skills for daily goal. Okay. Now, okay. So now I'm going to go back to fact fluency. Okay. And it's, again, this is just under my teacher dashboard. And the fact session, okay, so you can set that for 5 minutes, set fact speed 10 seconds, so every 10 seconds it'll change it. So if they don't know it, they don't have an opportunity, and just moves them on and records it that they don't know it. You can do maximum fact level, you can do up to 10s, you can do all the way to 15. I'm going to set mine at 12. Daily effort goal, so 5 problems per day. So since it's 5 minutes, I'm going to try to do 10 for their goal. And you can change this if you have kids that are going faster or kids that are going slower. You can change it individually if you want to. So daily work time is 5 minutes. And you can save all of these settings. And at the bottom, it just tells you they're saved. So now when you go back, and this here is how you would do individual settings. I just said you could do it individually. You could do individual settings. So I can go to this student and I can say, I want them to do in the module, I want her fact fluency to be to 5 because that's what they've been working on, or to 10. You can hide modules from students. Here is where you would manually assign. So that's what I was saying. You can say, you know what, I want them to start on multiplication. If you don't change that default, it'll go straight to addition. Okay, so then you just hit save, or you can hit save and close, and it'll bring you back to the dashboard. Okay. Now, once you're here, you can click the home button, and on the left-hand side, you'll see subjects, and you can assign any of these. You can choose to use it just for math or just for fluency, or you can do the different subjects as well. So if you go to math, you just click on fact fluency, and you'll get a synopsis of how well each student is doing. So here is where I'll see the multiplication, how long they're practicing, and you can do their settings also from here. So you can say, hey, that's not working for this kiddo. I'm going to manually assign the facts, and I want him to do addition first because multiplication isn't working out, or multiplication is a little bit too easy for this kid, so I'm going to move on to division. So you have the autonomy to differentiate based on how each student is doing, and you'll kind of get a good idea, a good sense in the dashboard. So that's how you would assign. I want to show you what it would look like for the student to log in. So if I log out, and then you go to as a student, you go to school name and you just put in Southwest Chicago, and it will pull up the 2 campuses. Now, for Keith, for example, and I'm just going to log in as him so you can see it, and he's the first person on my roster. His username was just Keith, and his password is the same as that 4W. It's easy, okay? So this is the student interface. This is what they'll see, okay? And it shows you on here how many minutes I want them working for the lesson or for the day. Now, and you can go in and reset this, so this is not going to affect it. So I want them to take the placement test for the fact fluency. So this is what they'll see, and they'll do easy ones first unless you default it to the multiplication. So you can choose, that's what the assessment would look like. You can also build in game time for your students, and you can say, I want them to be able to play games based on how they're working. So if you set their goal at 10 fact problems and they get them or they're working, you can have them reward them with game times. So my kids have to work for 30 minutes. So it's every 3 days for their 10 minutes. They'll get 10 minutes or they'll get game minutes. And I think it's only like 4 or 5 minutes, and they can go in here and there's fun games like mazes and all that kind of stuff. But it's just as that reward if they are working hard. That's not to say that they've mastered a skill, but if they're focused and working, they can earn game time, and that's how they would access it. You can also go into any of these icons and it through the teacher dashboard, and you can go through and you can set these. You can do some informational reading skills. I like to use these during my WIN group time, but there's a lot of resources that MobyMax offers. You can do assignments. They'll be listed here as well as in their bubbles above. So if anybody has any questions, I would be happy to help. If you need help setting up your rosters or finding where things are, let me know. I'd be happy to help.